have enjoyed every single outing as Loki. He was someone who was essentially a prince in a royal family who found out he didn't belong in that family, and actually his lineage is much darker, which is how his position as an antagonist is born. What's unique about this experience is, as an actor, when you build a character, you build it and play it and inhabit it once. And it's very, very, very rare to come back even once, let alone twice, 3 times, 4 times, in my case 5 times, and reinterpret and reinvigorate the character. He's charming, he's mischievous, he's witty, he's clever and funny. But all of those things are on top of this vulnerability and this pain. But that's Loki's complexity. Loki is someone who's always dancing on the line between good and bad. And I think that's been really enjoyable for me to play.
See that? Did you see that? Come on.
After the play, you're going to be shooting your TV series.
Yes,
which
I
is
am.
crazy.
It's amazing. Yes, and I can share this with you, that working with them on what it's going to be, what the content's going to be, what the meat and potatoes of the story is going to be, the tone, the context, the different challenges. I mean, it is so exciting.
Can we take it that we know a Rick and Morty writer's your showrunner, so is that indicative of the tone, that it's maybe a little more comedic than?
Oh, there'll be humor in it for sure.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah.
But there's also, it's the Loki
of 2012, basically.
Yeah.
So he's not redeemed.
Yeah.
Right? So a little bit more of the nefarious.
That's where he
mischief.
starts.
Okay.
Yeah.
But by end of the 6 hours,
he's in a whole other
you would hope.
set of challenges. But the point is that there's this sense of, I know this character now, I feel that the audience knows him, and playing him truthfully, but presenting him with new challenges, which then have to change him in different ways, is the most exciting aspect of it.
Yeah.
So there's this, you've got his very specific gifts, his intelligence, his treachery, his mischief, his magic, and then seeing him come up against more formidable opponents, the like of which he has never seen or known.
Hey everybody, it's Charlie. We have an early promo for the Loki series. Tom Hiddleston explaining a little bit about what the story's going to be, the villains he's going to be facing, and how they're making it. So we'll break it down. We're doing the Avengers Endgame and the Spider-Man Far From Home Blu-ray giveaways. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave your best Loki theory on the video. And because all these TV shows are launching on the Disney Plus streaming service, when they roll that out, I'll start doing giveaways for memberships to that. But just breaking this down top 5 style, biggest things. Number 5, the showrunners of the Loki series are coming from Rick and Morty, which makes me so much more excited.
What an exciting life you lead. Let's go, in and out, 20 minutes adventure.
And they're not saying that Dan Harmon and Justin Roiland are running the Loki TV series. They're saying that other people who wrote for earlier seasons of Rick and Morty are now running the Loki series. But it won't be like Rick and Morty with the Loki character. It'd be a little more like Quantum Leap with him jumping through time using the Tesseract. We'll talk about that in a second too, because it almost sounds from the pitch like they're breaking some of the rules about what the Tesseract is capable of, but there are other ways to time travel in the Marvel Cinematic Universe that they haven't tried using yet. Number 4, the really interesting idea is that they never really tell Tom Hiddleston about what's happening to the Loki character, only just a couple weeks before they shoot most of his stuff, and that includes all the movies that he's worked on through Thor: The Dark World. So I had to cut this way down. It's a way longer version of a conversation that he's having talking about his character, but a lot of it isn't quite relevant to the Loki TV series, so we just cut that stuff out. But he says that he learned about Loki's death at the beginning of Infinity War a couple years ago when the Russos had just initially developed their pitch. They hadn't quite worked out the story for Avengers Endgame yet, so at that time, they didn't know that they would bring Loki back during 2012. But in the couple of years that it took to get to the actual filming of Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, by then they had figured it out because they filmed those things back to back. So he says he learned about the Loki TV series that they wanted to do. They pitched it to him about 3 weeks before Avengers Infinity War hit theaters. Because they'd filmed both of those films back to back, he'd already filmed his Avengers Endgame scenes. After they did that, he said that he also assumed that that was the last time they would see the Loki character. But then within, a couple months of that, before the big premiere of Avengers Infinity War, he said they came to him and said, "Oh, we have this idea for a Loki TV series." Marvel was naturally looking to do a bunch of miniseries for the more underserved characters that would never get their own solo film. And because Tom Hiddleston has been no stranger to prestige TV series, it just seems like a no-brainer that you would go with Loki. He's probably been one of the most popular characters since Marvel Phase 1, so some of these Disney Plus series will be for stuff that they just never had the time to do in the movies, for characters that never really got a big story. That's why they're doing Scarlet Witch in the WandaVision show, because she's an incredibly powerful character. There's just so much going on with her that they just don't have time to address during these giant, huge crossover movies. The interesting thing, though, is that they did not say what would happen to Loki, obviously, at the end of his TV series, and they didn't say whether or not there would be a season 2. Right now, I'm not expecting one because of the way they're plotting these series out in Marvel Phase 4. Marvel Phase 5 will be the same way, where you have a bunch of movies with a bunch of those TV shows in between them. But they're spending almost the budget of one of those big Marvel movies, making 6 of these episodes for each of these different character TV shows. So imagine 6 episodes of this Loki show for about $150 million, meaning it's going to be really, really big. So when they get to the Marvel Phase 5 miniseries TV shows that they do on Disney+, they'll be completely different with different characters. It won't be like the second season of WandaVision or Loki. 3, he says that episode 1 of the TV show starts really soon, right after this moment of his escape with the Tesseract. He keeps referring to it as the Loki who just got thrashed by the Hulk during the original Avengers movie, so he hasn't been caught, he hasn't been taken back to face Odin's justice. He's carrying a literal and metaphorical get-out-of-jail-free card in the Tesseract, and basically a free pass to screw with Earth as revenge for his loss during the original Avengers movie. Normally in the comics, when you see Loki, Agent of Asgard, or stories where Loki spends a lot of time just on his own doing things, he's usually operating out of Asgard. Either it's a future version of Loki, like a much older version, or it's a younger version of Loki, like Kid Loki. But in all those instances, he's usually operating out of a version of Asgard, so he has access to the Bifrost. But this is a version of Loki that still has not faced justice for what he did during the original Thor movie. Remember, he tried to take over Asgard and then basically flew into the Maw, and that was the last you saw of him till the Avengers movie. It wasn't until the beginning of Thor: The Dark World that you actually saw him sitting in prison, just chilling out, doing time for all of his misdeeds. So this version of Loki probably isn't going to be operating out of Asgard, and because he has the Tesseract, he can travel all over the universe wherever he wants. Number 2, a lot of you are asking the really good question, how can he jump through time quantum leap style if he only has the Space Stone and the Tesseract, because it's not supposed to be able to travel through time as far as we know it. But they did explain that's one of the core ideas of the series, is that him jumping through time, altering major events in world history. Like here in this preview image, he's walking down the streets of New York City. I think this is actually supposed to be Times Square, and it's the weekend that Jaws hit theaters in June 1975. You can see it on the marquee behind him here. So either they're going to have to retcon the powers that the Tesseract, the Space Stone, have, or they're going to have to find some way for him to combine that with his magic or some other Asgardian technology or other really advanced technology to then travel through time. Like I said, they still think that he's dead on Asgard until Thor tells them, so it's not like he can waltz up behind Heimdall and use the Bifrost technology to quantum leap. I would like to see what would happen if you combine the Space Stone powers with the powers of the Bifrost. So until they give us a lot more information, I would just lean more towards them retconning a little bit about what the Space Stone is actually capable of. But there are 6 episodes total, as he says. They haven't said what all the major events are going to be, but I did love his comment about who the villains of the series would be. Number 1, he says that Loki will face some of his most formidable opponents, beings he's never faced before, challenges he's never faced. Of all of the things that it would be cool for them to do, that includes magic-based characters. For the most part, within the last couple of 100 years, the Ancient One would have been Sorcerer Supreme. It was really easy for Doctor Strange to track Loki when he came to Earth, so it would be pretty easy for the Ancient One to realize what Loki is doing, changing world events using the Space Stone. Even if you didn't know exactly what he was doing, the Ancient One can detect the presence of an Infinity Stone. But there's the Enchantress, various demons, cosmic beings like the Watchers, watching Loki mess with the timeline. And because he's time traveling, small hope, I'm not expecting it, but it would be really cool if they lay in some Easter eggs for Kang the Conqueror, whether or not they actually cross paths. But I think because of the more comedic tone, when he says formidable opponents, he's also probably talking about the people that he's trying to mess with in these big world history events. You also have Skrulls, you have the pink-skinned Kree. They said that they had been to planet Earth before the events of the Captain Marvel movie, so there could be Skrulls on planet Earth hiding out, trying to influence the world, running into Loki while he's also trying to influence major events. But let me know in the comments, who are these formidable opponents that you think that Loki is going to face? Who are the villains of his series going to be? And what's going to happen in a couple weeks is they're doing that Marvel Phase 4 D23 panel. They'll probably show off footage for the upcoming movies like the Black Widow movie, maybe some more concept art from the Eternals. So I'll do a video for that and we'll get some more details about what's going on with Disney Plus and all these Avengers spin-off TV series. Of course, I'll be doing episode videos for all this stuff when it gets here, and I will do more videos about them when we get more details, but it's still pretty early on. Leave all your requests and your big questions in the comments and I'll try to answer them. Congratulations, King Darko. You're the giveaway winner from my last big Marvel video. Please email me on the About page of my channel so I can get your details. Everybody click here for my Black Panther 2 Namor video, and click here for my video on the ending of The Boys Season 1. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.